3406.
Hi guys, this is here again Yankee 1 Echo Bravo Echo. Welcome back to my channel. In a previous video I had a suggestion from a subscriber here in the channel of comparing those two radios of Baofeng. This is the UV-32, a recently released model, analog radio, and this is the slightly older UV-25 plus GPS. It's not the simple UV-25, it's the one with the GPS. So I thought I would make a quick comparison about those two models because they are on the big side of the Baofeng radios, also kind of tactical, so they present some similarities. Okay, before I continue, perhaps it's nice to show the weight of those two radios. Get this scale out. Because, as I said, they're on the big side of radios, and for some of you it might make a difference in carrying them. I have to say that they both need the pouch to be carried. This one is very heavy and this one doesn't have the belt clip. It's on the heavy side too, but not as heavy as the UV-25, but it also doesn't have the belt clip. So it needs a pouch to be carried in your belt or something like that. And let's measure the weight of those two just to see what we have here. I have put on both of those the same antenna, so this is no problem. I'm comparing the weight with the antennas on, and let's see what we have here. Okay, so UV-32, it's 390 grams. And let's see the UV-25. This goes up to 637 grams, 638. It's almost double the weight between those two radios. So I guess this solves it about the weight of those two radios. Let me take the scale out of the video. And let's have a look here to the external sizes of those two radios. You can see that UV-25 is much bigger on height and on width and other measurements, of course. So it's a matter of personal preference as far as the size goes between those two radios. Now, before I continue, I would like to show how the GPS interconnection goes between those two radios, and I guess some of other Baofeng radios, they're not all compatible, but some of them are. These two, I believe they are. I have turned the GPS on both radios. I have set in both radios a DTMF code to recognize which one is which one, and each radio of those has the other one as a contact in its contact list. I have shown where this is done when I made the unboxing and reviews of those radios. You can check the videos that are related in my channel. So we have acquired GPS position in both radios, and we can see that here. If I long press the red button in the UV-25, I get my position details, and also if I press P1 in the UV-32, I get my position details again. And if I go to the contacts, the first contact is this radio, the same radio, and the second contact is the opposite. So in UV-32, the second contact is UV-25, and in UV-25, the second contact is UV-32. Now, as I said, I have positions. Both radios got their positions. And let's say that I'm requesting position from the UV-32. I press PTT. And I got a reply. As you can see immediately, it got the position of the UV-25. Perfect. And I did the same in UV-25 and got the position of the UV-32. So actually this is how the GPS beaconing is done between Baofeng radios that are compatible. You open the GPS location, you select the contact you want to notify, and you press PTT. Of course, you have to be in the same frequency. That's a no-brainer. Yes, this was the GPS interconnection. I just wanted to show it because they're different radios and it's good for you to know how this feature works. Now, comparing those two radios to see which one is better than the other. I can't really say which one is better. They have different set of features. So, for instance, as I said in the beginning of the video, the weight. This one is almost double the weight of the UV-32. You have to be prepared for that. Of course, UV-25 is more tactical. It has a metal shell. Also, very important difference. It has more than double the battery of UV-32. Okay? This one is, the UV-25 is 5,200 milliamps and UV-32 is 2,500 milliamps. So you understand that UV-25 can double its waiting time from this one. As I said, more sturdy construction, more tactical, of course. This comes with the cost of the weight. As far as other features, they have almost the same menu system inside with, let me see if I can put them here close to the screen. You can see, if I go down to the menu system, that they have almost the same menu system. Okay, with banks and zones to separate the channels and other settings that are the same. However, there are two basic differences in the features of those two radios. UV-32 has a Bluetooth connectivity, which means that it can be programmed through an application in a mobile phone. UV-25 doesn't have that, so you can program UV-32 on the go. You don't need the PC to do it. You can do it outside if you have saved configurations and stuff like that. And on the other hand, this one doesn't have Bluetooth, but it has a feature that I demonstrated when I made the video for UV-25, the fall detection, which means that if you are alone and you have set the fall detection and its parameters and the radio falls down after an angle, it will start transmitting an alarm to notify whoever is listening that you are in trouble. So that's a pretty neat feature, and for some people it might be very important also. Bluetooth programming might not be that important, but the fall detection might be. As far as other features go, they are almost the same. This one has the rotary knob, okay, for changing channels and VFO. UV-25 maybe has a little bit bigger wattage. They are both 10 watt radios, but UV-25 in my measurings gave higher wattage than 10 watts. In some occasions, it gave 11 to 12 watts. Of course, they are very close to one another. Both of them can be programmed with chirp and with the same CPS of Baofeng. So this verifies what I say, that the internal software is almost the same. Not exactly, but almost the same. And of course, price-wise, UV-25 is a bit more expensive than UV-32 because, of course, it serves another purpose. This radio, UV-25, is really what we say a tough, hardcore radio. It's heavy, it's sturdy, it's metal. This one is plastic mostly, as most radios in the market, of course, doesn't make any change. You can feel the difference when you pick them up both. Another thing I wanted to mention, because it's important to me and I believe is a bug, in UV-25 plus GPS, I hope that Baofeng fixes it at some point, is that they behave differently when selecting zones. Both radios have two VFOs, okay, and a dual weight feature, but in UV-32, the two VFOs are completely separate. So you can set a zone in the upper VFO and another zone in the below VFO. This unfortunately doesn't happen in the UV-25. When you select a zone here, let's say I will go and select ISS, okay. You can see that ISS zone went to both VFOs. I believe this is a bug. I mean, I should be able to separately change VFO A from VFO B. Of course, you can set different channels in the set zone in VFO A and VFO B, but you can't set different zones in VFO A and VFO B. For some people, this might be very important. That's why I had to mention it. And UV-25 here has the latest firmware released by Baofeng. I hope they fix it, at least if they consider this is a bug, I hope they fix it at some point. I would really like to see the two VFOs totally separate in zones and banks. But for the moment, this is how it works. So this is another thing for me that if I had to choose between one of those two radios, I would go for the UV-32. So to recap and close the video, UV-32, smaller battery, 2500 milliamps, lighter, it's about 390 grams with the antenna, a usual antenna like this one, Bluetooth programming for programming on the go outside of your sack, without the need of a PC, just a smartphone. And UV-25 is the tank of Baofeng, and I really mean it because it's metal construction, super heavy, no Bluetooth programming, but fall detection feature. If the radio falls down, if you set the fall detection, it will start sending an alarm. Double the size of the battery, more than double the size of the battery of the UV-32, 5200 milliamps, which means more than double the standby time. And also one bank selectable in both VFOs, unfortunately. Two different banks in VFO A and VFO B for the UV-32. So if you ask me, what it comes down to is if you need a lighter radio that has GPS capabilities, has Bluetooth programming on the go, and you don't care for a feature like fall detection, then you go with the UV-32 here. If you want a really heavy-duty radio that has a huge battery and has double the wait time of UV-32 and also has a feature of fall detection, if this is a feature that you need in your daily activities, then you go for the UV-25 GPS. That was it for today. I hope it helped some of you choose between those two radios if you were considering one of those. I had to point out the main differences. Watch the two videos in my channel that present those two radios for a further in-depth review of each one. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time.